Happening, guys? Happy Thursday or Wednesday if you're watching on YouTube, and welcome back to the fabulous Big Bet. My name is Memphis. You can follow me on Twitter at DWZ Memphis, and making his return from, I believe, his 37th vacation of the year, let me introduce you to my co-host.
I'm a killer. I'm the dirtiest player in the game. I know one thing: win at all costs.
Man, Dr. Kyle, you've gotten aggressive in the. I do like that win at all costs part, but welcome back, man. You look tan. You look ready, vibrant, ready to dominate the NFL betting game this season. What's up, kid?
Hey, the dirtiest player in the game also has the dustiest microphone in the game, but let's do it.
You said dusty. Your ass is dusty. All right, I got that much for you. Well, listen, hey man, I'm excited to have you back. If you guys don't remember Dr. Kyle from last year, he is a board-certified doctor of physical therapy. Not only does he help me do gambling stuff here at the Big Bet, but he also helps with injury news, stuff like that. Just another reason why you got to be tuned in and subscribe to the Dynasty Warzone YouTube channel. Not only will you get to see Dr. Kyle occasionally pop up with videos on player injuries, waiver wire, I'll be doing my prop bets. If you're watching this show, you're probably into gambling in some form or fashion. And remember, if you're a dynasty gamer or a fantasy gamer, you can still draw a lot from learning about what Vegas is using this stuff for. And I've already dropped 3 prop bets. Dr. Kyle, have you seen my 3 season-long prop bets?
No. What do you got?
Okay. I've been dropping them here
Where?
on YouTube.
How? When?
On YouTube. It was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to drop the final one tomorrow because we have this show tonight. I'll drop the final one tomorrow of the season. I have 2-player, 2-team season-long props. They're all available over at the Dynasty Warzone YouTube channel. And this Saturday, be looking for our boy Kyle. Not Dr. Kyle, but Kyle from the Fantasy Football Smackdown. He'll be here. He'll be doing his waiver wire sniping article, which means he'll be telling you about guys you should be looking to pick up off the waivers this Tuesday that you'll be using a week ahead. His waiver wire sniping keeps you a week ahead. And this Sunday, I don't know if Kyle will be here. He'll probably be at brunch. That's more his speed than me. But this Sunday, we're taking you to Football Sunday School from 11:30 a.m. Eastern until 1 p.m. Eastern, the kickoff of the first game. Me and some of the members of the Dynasty Warzone crew will be here taking your redraft questions, start sits, trades, gambling, DFS. We'll cover it all. All you have to do is ask your questions in the YouTube chat. We'll hook you up as fast as we can. Remember, we love Matthew Berry. We love the ballers. That's correct, right, Kyle? We love those guys.
Love them.
But how many questions do you think those guys get in a given day? Especially on game day. Especially on game day, like 3/4 of a zillion. That feels right.
Yeah.
That feels fair. We're not
That's how
going
I'd
to
handicap. Three-quarters of a zillion and a half, because you need to go over under a number.
Yes, you can't have it land on the number at 3/4 of a zillion. So they're super busy. We'll be able to help you. Again, go to YouTube, Dynasty Warzone, find us, subscribe, turn the notifications on, so that we can help you win your fantasy leagues, help you win some props, and do a bunch of other stuff. So, Dr. Kyle, without much further ado, are you ready to get this thing going?
Let's roll.
All right, man. One thing I thought we would do is we would give people a tip every week before we get going too far into the bets. Are you ready for the tip that I have for these fine athletes this particular evening?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let me tell you something. If you're listening to this, Dr. Kyle and I, we have got live, fresh betting lines pulled up for you. Fresh, that you could literally go in if you're in a state where it's legal, or you wanted to go to my bookie, promo code Memphis, by the way. But anyway, if you wanted to get the freshest lines, that's what we're here for.
You smell those lines?
Dude, fresh out of the oven.
So fresh.
Because if you're getting gambling advice from anyone out there and they're quoting a number, whether it be a podcast, like a pro gambling tout, some people actually sell picks, which I find to be hilarious. But wherever you get your numbers, if they tell you about some number that you can't get, they're not helping you. They're stroking their own ego, and they're probably stroking someone else. Nobody wants to hear about some weird unavailable line that did it ever actually even exist, Kyle. Hey, Kyle, by the way, I got the Rams plus 3.5. I know you'll get it at minus 7.5, but I found it at this weird offshore book in Aruba. Does that help you?
No.
Fuck no, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody. Nobody cares. No one. You're just there to make yourself feel good. We're going to give you the most accurate lines. As we do this, we're going to go through every game. We're going to give it into 4 categories, and this is going to be live as of YouTube. This is the importance of YouTube. On Friday, as the weekend props start coming out, I'm going to drop 1 or 2 from the cab of my truck or from my office at work. It's just going to depend on when I actually start seeing them. But I'm going to give you a 5-6 minute video with a fresh line. That's the key of subscribing to the Dynasty Warzone YouTube channel, so you can get the freshest line. Because what these guys do, it's like these guys are telling you about these magic lines that don't exist. It's like getting. You ever go to Black Friday shopping?
Ugh, once, and I'm never doing it again.
Bingo. And what do? You stand in line for like 3 hours to walk into Best Buy to find that the big screen TV that you're going to get for $7, they only had 3 of them and they're already gone.
Memphis, and let me tell you, the one time I went Black Friday shopping was like pre-smartphone, so never doing it again.
Yeah, man, they anybody who's not giving you fresh lines, or at least not giving you advice that you can go act on very quickly, they're fucking you around, Dr. Kyle. They just are. They're fucking you around. So what Dr. Kyle and I are going to do, we are using a website. It's called The Lines, TheLines, thelines.com. And what it does is this is the most accurate lines as of the recording of this podcast. Now you can go through there, you can pick any game, and it will give you lines from various sports books. Who has the best juice? Who has the best point spread? Are you an over better? Are you an under better? It's great. I did this for my seasonal prop stuff. They're not a sponsor of the show, but they are basically doing a lot of the quote-unquote line shopping for you. Very valuable if you're looking to get down. Good friend of the show, Nick Whalen, he reached out today, and he was like, what game? Kyle, I'll ask the question as if I were Nick, but I'm going to let you answer it. What gambling?
I answered like it was me.
Yeah, what gambling website or app would you download if you were going to download one?
Goddamn all of them.
And why would you download all of them?
Because if you're not shopping for the best number, you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving odds on the table.
You know, I only
inches, folks.
I only downloaded the Ric Flair Dirtiest Player in the Game Drop for you. If I had the other one, I would get the one from Pulp Fiction. Check out the big brain on Kyle. That's correct. You want to get the best number. Now, I got a big bet later. It's laying -3. Now, do I want it at the 105 juice that it's currently at? Or do you want to go to some other book where you can lay $1.20? You're leaving 15 cents of value out there for no reason when you don't have to. That's why don't get bought into any one book. You know, keep yourself liquid so that way you can do it. So what Dr. Kyle and I are going to go through and do, we're going to hit every game, and we're going to give you one of 4 categories. Kind of like a red light, like a traffic light, but with an extra light. We have a game that we're going to pass. You know, if you don't like the number period, you're going to pass. If you like it but you're not betting it, you're going to lean. If you like it and you're betting it, you're going to tell us you like it. And then we're both going to have at least one big bet. So you ready, Dr. Kyle? 4 categories. I am going to peruse these lines for you, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
All right, man. So the first game tomorrow night, Thursday night, if you're listening to this on the podcast, the first line is the Dallas Cowboys. It is Dallas plus 8.5 with an over/under of 51. Now, if you like the over/under, the over is -105, the under is -110. Juice is neutral on this one per the lines, -110 either direction. By the way, it opened at -6 and has ballooned up to 8.5. What are your thoughts? Like, lean, pass, or big bet?
This is a pass for me. To know that so many people got the Bucks at 6 or 6.5 or even 7, some very key numbers. I'm not touching it as much as, you know, the Cowboys, generally the public team. Maybe there will be some late money on the Cowboys, but I think all the question marks surrounding Dak and his throwing arm, you know, unless you're getting eventually anywhere between 9 and 10 with the Cowboys for some reason, I just feel like it's not worth it to even put anything on this game at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm passing. I liked it when it was 7 or less. Now that it's ballooned up to over 8, if I had to go anything, I would lean Cowboys. and I think I would lean under. I mean, 51's a lot, and I've got a prop on this game later that I'm going to give you a like on. I didn't see a ton that I loved with the props in this game because here's the thing: if you don't get good lines, you get really sharp lines. And how do you cut yourself? How do you bleed with really sharp lines? So I didn't see a ton of props that I loved. I think I've got one that I'm going to put out there. I would if I had to do anything, I would lean to the Cowboys plus 8.5. It feels like a backdoor cover game. It feels like Buccaneers up 10. Dallas gets a garbage field goal or a garbage touchdown as the time expires and just absolutely kills the Buccaneers cover. So that's where I would go as well. All right, next game on the board. The Falcons are hosting the Eagles. The line is the Eagles -3, and the over-under has jumped on me. Give me 1 second. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when you do the over-under is 48. Okay. So the over-under is 48. So what are your thoughts, Kyle?
I like the over. We have the Falcons have a new coaching staff in Arthur Smith, but I think that's an offense that's going to try and push the ball down the field with Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Russell Gage. Maybe Hayden Hurst is thrown in there too. And then this Eagles, I listen to a lot of John Middlecoff, and so I've got that sort of influence in my ear lately where I don't know about Nick Sirianni, but I do know that there is a lot of speed and dynamicness.
Dynamism. How do how does my dumbass know that? And you the doctor,
because I'm the doctor. I can make stuff up.
That's true. I can't even read your handwriting. See what I did there? See what I did there?
So between all of the weaponry on the Eagles offense, they got, they have 3 pass catching backs. Devontae Smith, I think he could ball out. And then they're still running with 2 tight ends with Ertz and Goddard. Ertz is only, a full season removed from a 900-yard season. I just see both of these teams really stepping on the gas pedal. I think we'll see these teams in high-scoring games down later in the season. But I feel like this is an early in the season advantage to take. Also, they're in Atlanta. It's that's a dome. Like there's a lot to like about this over. So I'm liking the over. It was almost my big bet.
Okay, I can see that. I'm gonna lean to Philly plus the 3. What does this Falcons team look like under Arthur Smith? It's the first game. This is why I have no action on this game. I believe I'm getting that better head coach with Arthur Smith, but I think I'm getting the better quarterback with Jalen Hurts, at least from has Matt Ryan, just so much I don't like. Atlanta's defense still looks sketchy. I do like if I had to say anything, I would lean toward the over with you as well. So that was almost a big bet?
Almost a big bet.
All right, I can dig that. Let's move on to the next number. The next game is going to be this live scrolling is something else. It's great radio, by the way. The Los Angeles Chargers +1 at the Washington football team. So the Chargers are +1. The football team a slight favorite. The over/under one of the smallest on the board, 44.5.
Wow, I didn't. That number must have moved today because when I looked at this earlier, it was Washington football team +1, and that was my like. But you know what? Now I can't do anything about that because I can't give you guys advice about what a line used to be. So now I will completely shift. If you happen to look at the books and saw Washington, or if you can find Washington getting points anywhere, that's what I liked. I'm probably not going to touch this one now, knowing that it's moving in the Chargers' direction, and here's why. This is
again, using the lines.com, you can get Washington +1 lay $1.10 at the MGM Sportsbook app. So you can still get there is still ones out there.
Okay.
If you want Washington on the money line, so if you don't want to lay the 1, you can get Washington on the money line, even money at some weird sportsbook that I have never heard of. It's the initials of it are SH. I am pulling that up because this is a new show format. It may be a Sugar House. Sugar House, it is a New Jersey-based online casino. So SH is Sugar House. You can get Washington even money on the money line if that's something that interests you as well.
Well, I'm gonna back up my WFT +1 here. We have a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for a 1:00 game on Sunday. We know that sometimes can spell disaster for a slow start. We have a completely new organization coaching for the Chargers. So, they still got Herbert, Allen, Eckler, the usual suspects over there. Sans Hunter Henry, I guess. But with a new head coach, with more defensive-minded, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how much I trust Ryan Fitzpatrick for Washington all season long, but if he can sling like he has in the past, and this Chargers defense wasn't great last year. There's a lot of things that are new. That'll be a theme with all of these games, but a theme of continuity would be Washington has the same coaches that had a top defense last year. They've added to that defense, and I just there's too much new stuff in with the Chargers. So with a low total, I'm going to take a home team getting some points. I like Washington +1.
Well, if I was going to do anything with this, first of all, I want to hit you with a couple of the points that I have. Nothing, and I'm going to use this as part of my big bet a little bit later in the show. But this is the first time Justin Herbert has faced a vicious road crowd in the NFL. Last year with COVID, we saw sparse crowds at best. And for me, if I was going to do anything with this game, I'd do a 6-point teaser. I would go back to the Dallas-Tampa Bay game. I would tease Tampa Bay down to -2.5. -2.5, and I would tease Washington up to +7. So I'd probably have to do that at the MGM Sportsbook app, but that would be my 6-point teaser. I would tease those two together, and that would get me off to a good start. I believe that those games, I do believe Tampa Bay is going to win. I think teasing them down to -2.5 pretty much guarantees me that leg. And then unless the Chargers just come out both guns blazing under rookie head coach Brandon Staley, who's going on the road for his very first game, again, your point, West Coast team heading east to play a veteran team with a solid head coach, well-coached team in Ron Rivera, that would be the only way I would have any kind of action. I would use that +1 as a teaser leg. Thoughts on my teaser?
Love that. You're way ahead of the game right now, Memphis. I'm just catching up to you.
Well, I'm not the dirtiest player in the game, but I do know what I like. Let's go to Buffalo hosting Pittsburgh. The line's 6.5, and the best number if you're taking the points with Pittsburgh. So if you want the +6.5, is currently at Sugar House in New Jersey, and the best number on the Bills is -6.5, lay $1.06. That's at the FanDuel Sportsbook. The money line, if you like the under, is lay $1.10 at, let's see here, that looks like FanDuel. And if you like the over, the best money line is 49, and that is, the under is the MGM Sportsbook app. So we're going to say 49 over under, and then 6.5. Anything on this game?
This was one that I looked at. I have my list of my games here, and I probably filled in something about every other game before I touched this one. And the only thing I could come up with is, 48.5 in this day and age is somewhere middle of the road, maybe a little bit low on the total. I don't know. I see a lot of 50s when I glance at this. So a spread of 6.5 at a total of 48.5. And granted, there's probably some recency bias built into this, with people probably having bet it since the week 1 lines have been up for a while. But that game where the Steelers couldn't quite hang with the Bills in the second half towards the end of last season, that was after the Steelers had this awful stretch of injuries and games move around. Now, if I'm taking a team straight up, I'm taking the Bills. But Pittsburgh getting 6.5, like Big Ben's probably healthier now than he was all of last year. He's fully removed from that elbow surgery. They've added Najee Harris. That O-line wasn't great last year, but they revamped it, so it's potentially better even though it's new. I don't love anything here, but if I have to pick something, I'm leaning Pittsburgh 6.5.
Yeah, I don't have a lot here. If I leaned anything, I would lean toward the over. If you've watched Buffalo's offense, and even if you watched it in limited action in the preseason, man, did they come out looking sharp. And what are they going to do? They're going to spread Pittsburgh out. They're going to pass the ball, and pass the ball. But I do think the Pittsburgh offense, especially early in the season while the weather's warm, I mean, you're a doctor, you know what I'm talking about. As it gets colder in the offseason, I can see that having an impact on Ben's arm, tightness, stiffness in those 39-year-old bones. So for me, if I were to go any way in this game, I would lean the over. I mean, I'm looking at, does the total of 28-24 going to surprise you? There's still no TJ Watt as of the recording of this show Wednesday night. We don't know whether or not he's going to play. So what's the pass rush look like? Buffalo's defense is better, but they also have a suspect pass rush. Neither one of these teams are going to be are going to be pounding the rock, right? I mean, Pittsburgh may try to get Najee involved earlier. That's Najee Harris for you non-dynasty or fantasy gamers. But I don't see Buffalo trying to get their running game super overly involved with Zach Moss or Devin Singletary. So if I had to go any direction, I would go over the 48.5 at the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, let's go to my neck of the woods. My Indianapolis Colts are going to be hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Depends on who you like. If you like the Seahawks, the best number you can get there is -2.5. That's at the MGM Sportsbook. That's -2.5, lay $1.15. And if you like the Colts, you can get the Colts +3 at home on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. If you like the over, the best over is 49.5 on MGM. The best under is at PointsBet on PointsBet. It's 50. So if you like the under, it's 50 on PointsBet. Lay $1.05. Kyle, give me some thoughts real quick there, bud.
Here's a thought. Maybe next time when I gotta clear my throat, I won't stop the cam and I'll stop the mic.
You're rusty. You're rusty. You're just getting back in the groove, kid. It's okay.
Totally. This is one again that I looked at a few times, went back and forth. Right now, I got to lean towards Seattle -2.5, and that really is just a tiebreaker between quarterbacks. Give me Russell Wilson over Carson Wentz, who's, I'm rooting for a Carson Wentz bounce back, mostly because of dynasty shares in fantasy football. But I want to see it with him before I believe it. I think Frank Reich will probably do the best with their game plan to protect them. But I think Seattle will probably come out throwing early and often. So, I'm leaning Seattle -2.5. I probably lean the over here. I think both of these teams were probably we know Indy. I remember Indy was in a lot of overs toward the end of the season last year. Granted, it's a new year, yada yada. It's I try to steer clear of biases and whatnot. Lean Seattle -2.5 and lean the over, whatever the best number there was.
Man, the good thing you're just going to lean, or we would have our first clashing bet of the year. I'm going to lean the Colts, and the reason why I do is that the opening line, when this line first came out, when all the lines hit the board, was Indy -1.5, and now they're getting 3. I can get 3 on this game if I go to the FanDuel Sportsbook. I can get +3, so there's a 4.5 point swing. What's changed?
Carson Wentz hullabaloo.
Well, he's playing. He's starting. He's running. He's doing all the stuff that you would want a quarterback to do.
Wouldn't you want a quarterback in a new system or a new organization?
How new is it?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I mean, didn't he play in the Frank Reich system once before?
That was many interceptions, sacks, and fumbles ago.
What was the best year of his career? What was his most efficient year of his career? Who was the play caller?
I don't know. I think I was still in high school.
What would you? No, you weren't. What would you consider home field advantage? I know most of the pros are considering it 2.5 points.
Yeah, I got to figure that out this year.
So there's all of this noise. I mean, I do understand that Quentin Nelson, but Vegas has Quentin Nelson as worth 0.5 point, and I do think he plays. I know he didn't practice today. He had a back injury that flared up. He'll play. I mean, if he, it's not. He's not going to change. He's not going to change my overall take on this. And I like the under. So Indy's defense, they still have DeForest Buckner. Dwayne Brown is, basically going to be playing football for the first time all season. Really, he went through all of training camp in a sit-in, not a sit-out or a hold-out. And I think in the especially with fans back, and the way that Seattle ended the season, I'm gonna go a 1 unit under 50 on the PointsBet app, laying 105. I just don't see. I think these lines have a lot of the COVID season from last year baked in, where there was no crowd noise, there was no playing in front of real fans. And I do believe, I see this game being somewhere in the neighborhood of like 24-21, something like that. I do think the Colts will win, but that's just a lean for me. But I do like the under on this game. And you get it on PointsBet minus 50. Anything to add before we go trucking on to the next game?
Now let's truck.
Trucking away. Also, 1 o'clock Sunday, the Minnesota Vikings head to Cincinnati. If you like the Vikings, the best line is the Vikings -3 on the MGM app, lay $1.10. And if you like the Bengals, they are getting +3.5. That hook makes a big difference on a key number, but they're +3.5 on the Sugar House app on it's a New Jersey sportsbook. You have to be in a state with legalized gambling, and then the over/under. It's like FanDuel has it. The over/under is 47 either way. FanDuel has the best number on the over at lay $1.10, and MGM has the best number on the under, which is also lay $1.10. So there you go. What do you got, Dr. Kyle?
Can we officially rename the Sugar House just to the Sugar Hill Gang? Because every time I hear sugar in the beginning of that H, it's all that comes to mind.
Well, I mean, you were in high school for the Carson Wentz best season, and at Sugar House, I got that correct. I did double check, but yeah, no. What do you think about this game? Because that hook appeared today. There was a lot of threes out there. All of a sudden, there's a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm not touching that line, but I like over 47. Can you tell me what the Bengals and the Vikings have on defense that is going to slow down either of these offenses? That I think the big question mark would be, can Joe Burrow hang in the pocket? I
don't really have anything on the game, but if you like the over, if you like the under, bet it now. I would just say that if you like the under, bet it now. But if you like the over, like Dr. Kyle, wait and bet that on Sunday. And here's why. I know it sounds stupid, but Kirk Cousins does not have the immunization for COVID. If he becomes a close contact, he's going to miss the game. And I think at this point, and even if you're vaccinated or not, but I think this year, if you like overs, wait and bet those on game day. Because if you bet the over now, and all of a sudden Kirk Cousins or Joe Burrow or any Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, any of those guys, especially wide receiver rooms, if there becomes a close contact, and I don't know all the rules verbatim, but that could send a shitstorm through your betting ticket. So if you're betting overs, I'm betting them on game day. And if you already like the under, you're almost getting a free roll on the COVID test if someone pops. Does that make sense? Am I making that make sense, Kyle?
Yeah, no, that's clear as day.
All right, cool. We got two more, then we'll take a quick break. We have Jacksonville at Houston. Like, lean, pass, big bet. We have Jags -3. Best number for that is MGM. The Texans +3.5. That's Sugar House. Under and over 45. If you like the over, that's FanDuel. You like the under, that's PointsBet. What do you got on 45, over, under, and then the Jags and the Texans?
There ain't a lot to like here. But I lean Houston +3 only because I'm like, who are the Jags to be road favorites with a college coach who has already got a handful of, strikes, and he's struck out a few times. Probably he's about to be struck out on the side by himself. Granted, Houston doesn't have a lot going for them either, but you got to choose between a giant douche and a turd sandwich once in a while in your life. I'm going with the Texans getting points at home with, Tyrod Taylor isn't Deshaun Watson, but Tyrod Taylor's been around in the NFL a bit, and Houston's now got, their seventh role-playing wide receiver on the field. They've got a few running backs who are very capable. I just
27 of them with an average age of 32.
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, I mean, quick aside, Philip Lindsay. You think he is the young running back in that room, but Philip Lindsay, he came into the NFL as I think a 24-year-old rookie. So even he's already 27, feeling like the young running back of that room. Wild, but yeah, Houston +3 is my lean there.
That would be my lean. I like the over in this game. I'm going to put 1 unit on the over. This one has all the earmarks of defense optional. If you watch Jacksonville in the first preseason game against the Browns, they just beat the brakes off of them. Now, the one thing that cautions me on the over is just a slow pace of play if both teams try to run the ball. But if I had to go, I'm gonna go 1 unit over 45.5. You're keeping track of all these, right? You're the scribe. You are the show scribe.
I think I got most of them so far.
Oh my God! All right, let's go to the Sam Darnold Bowl. We have the Carolina Panthers hosting the New York Jets. If you like the Jets, you can get 5.5 at Sugar House, and if you like the Panthers, you can get -4.5 at FanDuel. The over, if you like the over, the best number is 44 at FanDuel. If you like the under, it's 44.5 on Sugar House. Check an app near you. We'll use 44.5. So who do you like here? You like the Jets plus the 4.5 to 5.5, depends on where you get it, or the 44?
Is my head spinning because I like the Jets plus 5.5. Who the heck, or as Memphis is going to probably soundboard, who the fook are the Panthers to be laying 5.5 with Sam? You know who I heard more about having a good preseason than Sam Darnold? PJ Walker, the Panthers' backup. Meanwhile, Zach Wilson.
I watched PJ Walker. He couldn't play dead in a Western.
All right. Well, he got way more positive commentary than Sam Darnold. I didn't watch every snap, but I like what Robert Saleh is putting together in New York. I think he's already shown that he can put together a game plan that Zach Wilson can execute. I don't know, in a 44-point total, this is the second lowest total on the week, and you have that big of a spread, so the Jets' implied point total is 20. The Jets must have the second lowest implied point total of the week.
I just don't. That's the number. If I lean toward a side, I would lean with the Jets plus the points. That's a lot of points for a team that had a losing record last year to lay, even though the Jets were bad. I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm just trying to figure out how do these two teams not wind up with a score of 24-21. That's 45 points.
Right.
The Panthers defense should be improved. Second year for a lot of those guys in the offense. They did add, J.C. Horn. But I'm just asking myself, this and I know you like Robert Saleh, but that's a very toothless pass rush, in my opinion. I mean, they lost, was it Carl Lawson? One of their free agents. They traded for someone. I think they traded for Shaq Lawson, if I remember correctly, from Houston. Just an ugly game. I'll just try to sit back and reap some fantasy goodness for it, but I will do so trepidatiously. So, all right, we have one more game. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll get to the back half. We have San Francisco going to the Lions. If you like the Niners, you can get the Niners -7.5, -105 on DraftKings. If you like the Lions, you can get +8 on Sugar House. Over-under is 45. And MGM has a good number on both, 45.5 -110. So first thoughts on this game. First of all, I will tell you I don't like that half.
What don't you like?
I said I don't like that half. I don't mind the 7. I don't like the 7.5.
Oh
Again,
yeah,
it feels like where you get bit by a backdoor cover.
yeah. If this was one where I'm like, ugh. My one note in the margin here is for me, Dan Campbell is a giant question mark. So 7.5 is too large a number for me to bet San Francisco. If I had to lean aside, I would lean Detroit just because there's a chance that if San Francisco San Francisco could stop passing the ball. We've seen them do it against elite teams. They did it against Green Bay in the playoffs a couple years ago. San Francisco could just stop passing the ball. And this game could just be over in 2.5 hours. And again, like very easy backdoor cover with Detroit, perhaps in a 2-minute warning. Again, probably not betting this one in any way, but if I had to lean aside, I would lean Detroit getting, I think 8 you said was the best number right now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to save this one. I'm going to come back to this as another teaser. I'm going to save it for a little bit later in the show. So we're going to call our first time out, and we're going to take you to a word from our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Precision tools for your family jewels. Kyle, let's talk about balls. Not footballs. Let's talk about my balls. And, they're the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, and they just launched the Performance Package 4.0. Now, I asked this question last night. Kyle, have you neglected your Johnson because you've been too focused on Deontay Johnson? You're in New York. Maybe you've been focusing on Ty Johnson.
Well, it was so hard for me to not just interrupt you and say, I'll give you a performance package.
A 4.0. And so you could join the 2 million men around the world who trust Manscaped, and you can get 20% off and free shipping by using the promo code ZONE. That's ZONE. So it's got all kinds of goodness in there. It's got a pair of boxers. It's got the Manscaped, the mower 4.0. It's got the weed whacker. It's got like a deodorant for your ball. Here's the thing, Kyle, you're a married man, right?
Correct.
The last thing, and if you're not following Kyle on Instagram, he probably appreciates that, but he's out living his best life. He wears them shorty shorts, and you could use your manscaping clippers to keep your pasty white legs nice and trimmed.
I got nothing to say to that.
These are facts. These are facts.
Don't follow my Instagram. Don't make me go private world.
Dude, yeah, he is a pasty son of a gun. But guys, there's a reason to manscape for everybody. First of all, self-care is important. And taking care of yourself, and it's important to your significant other. You think you're going to get any quote-unquote FaceTime if it looks like an angry hot dog that someone dropped on the barbershop floor? It doesn't work that way. So, again, I also mentioned this for the gym bros. No, Kyle, you're a gym bro, right?
I dabble.
Okay. Now, do you eat right, work out, and do cardio so you can hide your gains behind a fur sweater?
Hell no.
Hell, why would you? You don't put all that work in to hide all that definition so you can look like, your teen wolf at the pool every time. The weather's still nice. So head over to manscaped.com, use promo code ZONE, that's ZONE, save 20%, man. And don't forget that area, in your undercarriage area, that dark place that needs more attention than just about everything else. Manscaped.com, promo code ZONE, get you 20% off and some free shipping. Dr. Kyle, let's get back to the games, man.
That's what the people are here for, Memphis.
That isn't
20% off of ball stuff.
Take care of your balls, seriously. Arizona Cardinals. They are on the road. They're heading to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Over under 3.5. The best number on the Titans is DraftKings. You get Titans -3, even money. You get the Cardinals -$1.20. Over under is, if you like the over, it's 51.5 on MGM. You like the under, 52.5 on DraftKings. One of the higher scoring over-unders of the week. What do you got, Dr. Kyle?
I know it's one of the higher totals, but give me the over. I know that probably.
You're so square.
I know. I was just gonna say it's square. But the Cardinals don't want to run the ball. They've literally everybody.
With who? Who would they run the ball with?
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to. They're going to run it with Kyler Murray to pick up first downs and extend drives, and they are going to move the ball downfield against this Titans defense that couldn't stop anybody last year. And And then the Titans are going to be forced to throw it too. I'm sure there's a possibility it goes under, obviously, but one team has to hit 30 in this game and it's over. I see that happening.
I'm mostly giving you a hard time.
Yeah, better be. Back off. It's week 1.
How is Arizona going to move the ball through the air? How do you beat Tennessee through the air? They have a better, in my opinion, rush defense than pass defense. I don't know what their secondary looks like. Their rookie Caleb Farley.
He's the one who had all the red flags because he had
the back injuries. Yeah,
slipped the rounds. Yeah,
and I don't like the total at all. I could easily see one of these teams scoring 40, so I could easily see it going over.
Yeah.
If I had to lean anything, I would lean the Cardinals plus the 3.5. But I'm not touching. I'd have nothing on the over, and I have very little on the side. All right, this next game is my big bet. You ready? So here,
Let's go.
I'm going to give you the first crack at this. So since it's my big bet, and I'll bring it home. We got the Miami Dolphins on the road in Boston, New England Patriots. The number that I had was -3. There is a 2.5 at Sugar House. Over under is between 43.5 and 44.5. Depends on whether you like. Obviously, if you like the over, you want to go 43.5, under 44.5. What are your thoughts before I give you my big bet? I have a big bet and a like in this game.
This one just feels like the one to not touch with the 40-foot pole this week, if you ask me. The Patriots and Dolphins are division rivals. You have Brian Flores is a disciple of the Belichick tree. It just smells too familiar. If anything, I see it being a chess match. New England has the clear advantage playing at home. There's a lot of pressure on Tua in this game and not as much pressure on Mac Jones, two guys who shared a locker room, one replaced the other. Very, very interesting social dynamic to this game, if you were to put a label on what's going on there. I would lean the under, whatever you said the best number was. I have 43.5 written down from DraftKings. I don't think I'm betting anything here. Let's hear your big bet and your thoughts.
Well, my big bet is I'm going to lay the -3. Now, if I can get a 2.5, I love it. I would probably go 2.5 units at 2.5. I'm going to go 2 units. I'm going to go the New England Patriots, and I'm going to lay the 3. And here's some of the reason why. So I couldn't find his record against second-year quarterbacks, but in the last 20 years, Bill Belichick is 21-6 against rookie QBs. Keep that in mind later in the season when they play.
One of those 6 is Tua Tagovailoa.
I am getting there. Now, that was at the end of the season when it looked like to me that the Patriots are no longer involved in the playoff race. But Tua, in his one start, though, against Bill Belichick, they did win. That's true. He went 20 of 26 for 145 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 2 sacks. That was week 14. Now, we talked about the rookies and everything being on the road, right? Tua has not played against a hostile crowd since the 2019 Iron Bowl at Auburn. So, his first game of the season, first start of the season, going to Boston, going to be a packed house, going to be nuts there. And Brian Flores, the head coach, he's 0-2 against Belichick on the road at Boston, at New England. So in week 2 of 2019, Brian Flores and the Dolphins went to New England and lost 43-0. 43-0. And then last year in week 1, they lost in Boston 21-11. And that was with Fitzmagic. Miami's defense is not great. They gave up 25 yards per play. It's a big Vegas stat, YPP, yards per play. 5.9 yards per play.
Oh, I thought you said 25 for a second.
They are, 23rd versus the pass, but they allowed the second fewest passing touchdowns of any team in the league last year, and they did lead the league in INTs with 18. Now, conversely, Miami was middle of the pack against the rush. 16th in rushing yards allowed, 16th in yards per rush, and they were 18th in rushing touchdowns allowed at 17. So in the game that New England won last year, in week 1, they had 42 rushes with Cam Newton and the crew, and they won 21-11, and they only rushed the ball 22 times in the loss against the Dolphins in Week 14. What's the game plan to success? I think they limit Miami's young quarterback. They don't expose their young quarterback, and they pound the rock with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. These are both two teams that were really good in defense last year. The Dolphins were 6th in points allowed, and the Patriots were 7th in points allowed. So the total of their two games last year were 32 and 34. The over and under in this game is 43 to 44, depends on where you get your number. So I'm going big bet. I'm going 2 units. I'm going New England -3 against the Dolphins, and I do have a 1 unit on the under. I'm not parlaying them. I'm not a big parlay guy. But there you go. There is, I know you're going to write those down, so I'm going to give you just a second as we go to the next game. What's that?
Written, documented in my spreadsheet.
He is helping. He is keeping a spreadsheet. I appreciate you. All right, the next 4 o'clock game, going to be not say prime time, but a national game. You have the Browns at the Chiefs. You can get the Browns plus 6.5 on MGM. You can get the Chiefs minus 5.5 on DraftKings. The over-under's 54.5. You can get some adjusted juice, depends on where you get it. Go, Dr. Kyle, go man, go.
For multiple, as a football fan, I don't think I'm going to have anything on this game because what a game. I think this will be just to enjoy and watch. And that sort of says it all with this line. The Chiefs, everybo's got them as the clear Super Bowl favorites, even though they lost this past year. And they were probably 5-11 against the spread last year. But it just feels so difficult to bet against the Chiefs. I guess maybe by talking this through, I might lean the Browns if the number gets to 6.5 or 7, because you got to think the squares are going to be on the Chiefs.
You can get 6.5 right now at MGM.
Okay, so yeah, my numbers aren't up to date on my spreadsheet, but if you like the Browns, I think you can wait closer to game day and get a better Browns number. I've been playing, I play this exercise for multiple reasons. I listen to a lot of non-fantasy football stuff, and take away. I think it came about with all the Aaron Rodgers, what's the best place for him to end up? And I was thinking, take all the quarterbacks away from every team. Where do you have the Browns ranked as far as a roster goes? That is arguably a top 3 or 4 team, and Baker's been serviceable.
Well, actually, my disdain for Baker has turned around. I think he's a Kirk Cousins plus, and before you say that's not a very good comp, dude, Kirk Cousins, if you're a dynasty or a fantasy player, he was a top 8 QB last year. So Baker has that upside. I have nothing on the side. I have the side as a pass. For me, the total is a lean to the under. You ever watch a heavyweight boxing fight or a heavyweight fight in the UFC? What do they do the first round? They come out, they feel each other out. I think the pass rush I think this is going to be a battle of 2 good units. Hey, now, speaking of units, manscaped.com, promo code ZONE for your unit. But the 2 good units. You got the defensive line of the Browns and the offensive line that the Chiefs put a ton of resources in the offseason. But I could just see this one getting off to a little bit of a slow start. And even though the weather should be good in Kansas City, I'm going to go 1 unit on the under 54.5. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that at PointsBet because I'm laying $1.05 versus $1.10. Anything else on that game?
No, I like that. My notes on that is the Browns are going to try to slow this one down, but I want nothing to do with it.
You're just going to keep slamming Nick Chubb. Hey, now speaking of Chubb, but you're just going to keep slamming Nick Chubb.
Hey, now,
right up in the middle. And,
don't forget to use the code ZONE for your Nick Chubb.
All right, for you. Hey now. All right, next game. This would have been a marquee matchup. This is Green Bay at the Saints, and the game's going to be held in Jacksonville. And the Saints are plus 4.5 on MGM. You can get the Packers minus 3.5 on DraftKings. Over/unders 50. You can get it lay $1.10 either direction. Anything to kick this one off? Or you want me to go first this time?
You go first.
All right, I'll make this real quick. I am going to lean Packers. I'm going to go to DraftKings. I'm going to get that minus 110. That's my lean. I don't know what this Saints offense is going to look like. I don't know that I'm going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe that was that crazy Monday night game where YOLO Jameis was back at it again. I know Marquez Callaway made a couple of great catches. I'm still not sure. They cut Latavius Murray. I have more questions than answers with the Saints, but I know this is the official Aaron Rodgers FU tour. So he's going to go out with both middle fingers up, and he is absolutely going to be scorched earth. And how do you set the tone if you're Green Bay? You go in on the road, you punch the Saints right square in the mouth, and it's going to be a bloody game. I have questions about the New Orleans secondary, and for all those reasons, give me Aaron Rodgers on the FU tour in Jacksonville. I lean Packers minus 3.5. I would love to get it at 3, but there you go.
I got my like as Packers minus 3.5 for all those things you just said. The Saints don't have true home field in this one, which they have one of the stronger home field advantages in the NFL. And then also, it's very tragic, but we also have to realistically look at it. The hurricane that just ripped through New Orleans, it's not like these guys just pick up and leave New Orleans and go to Jacksonville and everything is fine. I'm sure some of them can't help but think about what's going on. Perhaps at some point, like that year after Katrina, where the Saints came out and whatever it was, like that kickoff immediately, like they forced a fumble and then it was a touchdown. Maybe we'll see something like that at this point, but it's not going to be playing on some random field in Jacksonville against the Packers, like you said, the Aaron Rodgers FU tour. And so for those reasons, I'm on the Packers minus 3.5, and obviously 3 would be better. I just don't know how much that line will move in that direction.
Yeah, I did want to go back to the Chiefs game again. If you like that under, bet it now. Any kind of COVID news with any superstar, it's going to drive it below the 45.5. So I want to make sure I continue to drive that point home. Yeah, I lean to that the Packers minus the 3.5. Don't really have anything on the total. All right, we got 3 more games. Let's wrap these up. We have the Denver Broncos laying 2 on the road at the G-Men at the New York Giants. If you like Denver, you can get a -2. And you can get that at Unibet. If you like the Giants, you can get +3. That's at Sugar House, which makes sense. That's a New Jersey-based app. The Giants basically play in New Jersey. The over-under's 42. You can get it to $1.10 either direction. So, Kyle, what do you have on this game? Because I don't have a lot.
I like the Broncos -2. I just feel like I've seen enough of what seems like the New York Giants circus this offseason. I don't think Joe Judge is it. I don't think Jason Garrett's it. I don't think Daniel Jones is it. And looking at how this game could play out, granted for fantasy, I think Teddy Bridgewater is not the right quarterback for that system. But for close games where you're a 2-point favorite with a low over/under, I want the conservative quarterback with the much stronger defensive unit that probably got better. If you talk if it was Drew Lock against Daniel Jones, then I'm probably taking the over here, because then you have like 2 YOLO bomb guys who will just chuck it up. We'll see turnovers. We'll see fumble rooskies for touchdowns. Those are the things that ruin unders. But because it's Teddy Bridgewater, I think we'll see a more conservative game plan from the Broncos. Perhaps they strike a little bit more strategically. And I don't know. Galladay's been banged up. Ingram's been banged up. Joe Judge is like trying to be Bill Belichick, but he hasn't won more than a handful of games in the NFL. I don't know. I need to see the Giants do anything before I'm on them at all. But I've seen enough from the Broncos where I like them -2.
Well, I'm looking at our friend Vic Fangio, and over the last 2 years since he's been the head coach, in the month of September, he is 0-8. He is 0-8. I don't know what that is against the spread, but he is 0-8. And whatever you say about Joe Judge, he was a Philadelphia set of shenanigans away from getting the New York Giants into the playoffs last year. Had Philadelphia actually managed to keep Jalen Hurts in that game the entire time, and had actually won that game, they could have literally won the NFC least last year. I think I'm getting the better head coach. I know people don't like Jason Garrett and the clapper, but it looks like Barkley's going to play. I'm not touching it, but I damn sure am not taking a coach who's winless in the month of September on the road.
Regression, Memphis, regression.
And laying points. Fuck out of here with that nonsense. All right, here's a game I'm going to jump into. We have the Bears heading to Los Angeles, some of the biggest cities in America. No wonder this is on prime time. You got LA and Chicago. -7.5 for the Rams. You can, You can get a little bit of juice adjusted wherever. Over under 47. This is the other half of my teaser leg with the San Francisco 49ers. So what I'm going to do with this game is I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers and I'm going to tease them down to -1.5. I'm going to do a 6-point teaser again. I'm going to tease the Niners down to -1.5 because I think there's a good chance they beat the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to tease the Rams down to -1.5 as well. And I'm going to do a 2-leg teaser. I'm going to go Rams -1.5 as a 6-point teaser. I'm going to go 49ers -1.5 on a 6-point teaser. That is my other bet of this show, sir.
Oh, love it. I got nothing to add to that. You nailed that one.
I'm in mid-season form. I'm a professional.
Yeah, I'm not touching that line.
No, last year you were the teaser king. Last year you were the teaser king. But those teasers that range anywhere from 1, 1.5, 2, and then 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. This opening weekend just has a couple of nice ones of those.
Yep, you're
so
right.
I'm going to do those. All right, final game of the year. I've not heard a big bet out of you, so I'm going to give you the opportunity. I think the floor is yours by process of elimination.
I can't wait. I was just going to say I can't wait to hear. It's square as all hell, but.
Dude, you go ahead.
Ravens -4 on Monday night. The Ravens trounce people as favorites. I know Lamar has been questioned as a quarterback who can come from behind, but I don't think he's going to have to come from behind from the Raiders. And I don't care if Rashad Bateman and J.K. Dobbins aren't playing. They are not relevant enough to move the line. Maybe as the two of them combined, it's 1/4 point or 1/2 point. But I looked at these lines like a week ago, and I was like, how are the Packers and Saints the same amount of points apart as the Ravens and Raiders? So give me the better coach, the better quarterback, the better offense, and the better defense on Monday night, laying a measly 4 points.
All right. Well, I didn't even get a chance to lay the lines out there. You just pounced on this thing like a hungry tiger. And so you can get the Ravens -4 on DraftKings. You can get the Raiders +4.5 on MGM. The over/under is 51. Juice about 110. Again, do your shopping. We may not go so in depth with the lines next week, but we want to make sure we're trying to help you get the best value. I don't have a lot on this. If I did, I would lean to the Ravens. My problem with the Ravens is that I just don't feel like they're in rhythm. And here's the thing. I think the Raiders can score. I truly believe that's going to be a good offense this year.
I can see that brand new offensive line. They let like 4 of their offensive linemen go in the offseason.
I can see that. I could see
Josh
that.
Jacobs.
Is it Jason Oweh? I know he changed his name. Jason was his name he used in college. He went back to his family name. But the rookie they drafted, I don't know. I don't have a lean. If I leaned anything, I'd probably lean to the over, but I don't love it. I think the Ravens in and of themselves could put up 35 to 42 points, and I don't think that's being hyperbolic at all. This Raiders defense
That's what they do
bad.
in games where they're favorites.
That's what I'm saying. And so I don't have a lot on this game, but there you go, man. We have gotten through all 16 games. We're right at an hour, so we're cruising right along. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to ask you if you have any prop bets on this Dallas Cowboy game. I have one forced one. I'm going to put myself in the hole early. But before we do that, Dr. Kyle, I heard you laugh. You're not a big prop guy. Props are my thing.
No, I am a prop guy. I just did no prop research. I was too worried about all my lines and totals. So I don't need my minute unless you want me to pause.
No, I don't want you to drag it out any longer. But I do want to tell you that this segment's going to be brought to you by our buddy Matt at Hate Brand Goods. I love the goat shorts. If you follow me on Instagram at Memphis185, if you follow Kyle at Instagram handle to be named later, you will notice that we are both fans of the Hate Brand goat shorts. And if you're watching along on the YouTube, you can see that I have the website and the promo code tracking. It's thehvii.com, promo code Memphis at checkout. That'll save you some money over there as well. To Kyle, 2 new camo patterns. They have the woodland and they have the tiger camo. And the tiger camo goes with some of their new shirts they have coming out. Create to the chaos, or contribute to the chaos, excuse me. Contribute to the chaos. So it has like an old school, like almost like Vietnam era throwback. So have you seen these? Are you interested? What are your thoughts? You're a fashionista.
Memphis, the problem is I'm interested in everything they put out. I need to cancel the text messages because I tell you what, they know that on Friday night I had a couple beers and I'm like, yeah, yes, give me all of that. I want my minute back because just want to talk about how much I love the GOAT shorts and how comfortable their T-shirts are.
Have you seen the GIF or the GIF of the lady who's like, well, yeah.
Yeah,
that's me. I looked at the Woodland, and I'm like, they look very similar to the snow camo and like the military camo I already have. But the more I look at that jungle camo, they call it tiger camo. The more I'm like, I'm talking myself into it. I will probably be there tomorrow on opening day. The drop hits Thursday the 9th. At 3 p.m. Central Time, so that's 4 p.m. Eastern. What is that? Like 1 p.m. on the West Coast. So whatever you're into, and so check that out. Hatebrand.com, promo code Memphis. That'll save you a couple of bucks. So all right, I do have one prop bet for you, Dr. Kyle. I try to hit these obscure ones, and I have some rationale behind it. I'm going to put the streak. I'm going to put my hotness. I'm going to put it out on the line early, okay? I'm going to go Tony Pollard, backup running back for the Dallas Cowboys, over 17.5 rushing yards on DraftKings, lay $1.15. Here's my rationale. Now, looking at the point spread of this game, it feels like Tampa Bay could be blowing these guys out. And the last thing Dallas is going to want to do is overuse Zeke in a game where they're losing. If they're down like 31-17 late, I could easily see where they pull a lot of the starters and they're just pounding clock with Tony Pollard. Get him some reps early. Guy's a good running back, and he can break a 20-yard run. So I didn't see a bunch that I liked. Gonna maybe dive in. But for now, that is my first official prop of the season. Tony Pollard over 17.5 rushing yards on DraftKings, lay $1.15. There you go, Kyle. If you appreciate the big bet, please leave us a rating and review over on iTunes. Fastest way to help the show grow. Subscribe to the YouTube and support our sponsors. What do you got, Kyle? We'll get these people out of here.
That's it. Welcome back, guys. It's here. Actually, no, you know what I got? Here's what I was thinking today. It was like that beginning scene from Wedding Crashers when he's like, come on, wake up, Count Chocula. Like, it's wedding season. Guys, it's football season. We've been waiting since the Super Bowl for this moment. Like, let's do it.
Yep, let's do it indeed. Well, all right, on behalf of that man, his name is Dr. Kyle. I call him the dirtiest player in the game today. My name is Memphis. You can follow us both on Twitter. He is at DWZ_DrPT. I am at DWZ Memphis. And remember, here at the Big Bet, we like to tell you that money won is twice as sweet as money earned. We'll see you back here real soon with more gambling action, and we'll definitely see you on Sunday for Football Sunday School. Thanks for tuning in.